Okay, so now we've discussed all of the different major regions of the brain, their structures and their functions. I want to turn to this thing called the limbic system. Okay, now the limbic system has parts of it that are cerebrum, parts that are diencephalon, and the reticular formation, which goes throughout the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. Okay, so these are all the structures that are involved in this limbic system. It has some parts from each of these regions, but we group them together into this system because they all work together to achieve this really important function. And here's what it does. It establishes emotional states. So this is the emotional center. It's going to link conscious with unconscious or subconscious. Okay. And then the last thing it does is it's really involved in storing and retrieving memories. Okay. So here's a thing to help you learn the structures and practice knowing where they're located. I'd like to go through a few of them in this PowerPoint here. Okay, so just as a reference point, here there's that big white band that's the corpus callosum, the commissural fiber that we've talked about previously. Okay. Above that, in the cerebrum, is going to be a gyrus, and it's called the cingulate gyrus. Okay. We're also going to have a few other things. You can see here hypothalamus is going to be a part of that in blue. Mammillary body, okay, we've discussed that before. We have this thing called the amygdaloid body. It's a nuclei that is in the cerebrum. This here, let me see if I can, this here is called the hippocampus. Right, and so these are just some of the structures. If you look here on your notes packet, I can go through, so the parts of the limbic system that are located in the cerebrum, we just talked about the cingulate gyrus. There's another one called the dentate gyrus that's not pictured well on the image. We have the amygdala, also called the amygdaloid body. We're going to have the hippocampal gyrus, this thing called the fornix, and the hippocampus. Okay, so parts that are diencephalon, thalamus, hypothalamus, and mammillary bodies. Okay, let me make sure that I can give you some of these structures and functions here. Okay, so let me get back there. So the fornix, okay, the fornix is going to, well, actually, before I do fornix, let me first do hippocampus. Okay, so hippocampus is going to, it's going to link memories, hippocampus is going to store memories, and particularly long-term memories are stored there. So it's very important for learning. So if you're learning something, which hopefully you are in my class, then your hippocampus should be active. And major brain region, we just mentioned this, so I'll let you go back and look above to see what that is. Okay. So now let's go to the fornix. Okay. And so the fornix, it is going to be the regions that are connected. So it's going to connect the hippocampus, which we just said is our memory center, to the hypothalamus. Okay. And so what that means is it is going to link your memories to everything that the hypothalamus does. Now, if you need a review of what the hypothalamus does, go to an earlier homework. But if you remember, it controls heart rate and these sorts of things. So you can affect it. And it does so by communicating with other regions of the brain, such as the pons, the medulla oblongata, those sorts of things. Okay. So the fornix is linking memories to everything that the hypothalamus does because it physically connects these two structures together. The amygdaloid body, also called the amygdala, right? That is triggered by fears, okay? And it links emotions to memories, particularly fear-based, okay? And so it's involved in fight or flight responses. So if you see something scary and you run away, so for example, I was out jogging the other day, a little dog came up with its teeth bared and was ready to bite me. My emotions got stimulated, my heart rate, and I was ready to run away. And so if I ended up with a memory of that sort of dog triggering a fear reaction, that might in part be because of the amygdaloid body. Okay, so these are some of the different new structures. And so if we go back here to the limbic system, I give you a scenario at the bottom. Okay, this is a young boy, Manny. He's a recurrent character in my in-person courses. And it has a thing where he smells a certain flower right next to a neighbor's yard where there's this huge dog that comes to the fence and rushes it and growls and barks. And poor Manny, as a little boy, would be terrified and race past as fast as he could. So at 20, and then in this scenario, he goes far away. And then one day visits Georgia again and smells that smell. The dog isn't around. He's not near the farmhouse, but he immediately starts to feel hot and sweaty, and his heart begins to race, and he feels jumpy and afraid. Okay, and so you could think about what are the things, what has to be triggered first. We know there's sensations that come in, so we might think, well, this is the smell that comes in. Where is that going? Well, everything goes to the thalamus. But then he starts to feel hot and sweaty. And he thinks about that dog. So somehow this smell is being connected through structures of the brain to centers that are involved in memory, that control body temperature, that control heart rate. And so I would see if you could go through and link up what's sensation, what's response, and which are the parts that are happening in each, which structure of the brain are causing this to happen.